Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Ghosty, and today we're gonna be playing Black Ops 2. I'm gonna be doing a little story time today. I tried doing this video like 3 times already, did not work out. So I just wanted to talk about kind of the situation that ended up happening to me this weekend, which wasn't really a bad situation. It was just kind of like more of a surprising situation where I was just kind of like dumbfounded. So kind of to put into perspective, I was at my girlfriend's house, and I spent a couple days at her house and a couple days at my house, and I'm kind of back and forth, from her house to mine consistently. So it was just one of those days where I was ended up being over there. I was just scrolling through my phone and ended up kind of wanting to just check the GameStop site. I don't know what kind of led me there. So I ended up checking the site, and I seen two deals, a 4 for 10 and a 4 for 20. And how the deal worked was you had to find 4 games that were below 5 or at 5, or 4 games that were below 10 or at 10 in order to qualify for the deal. So I ended up calling, and I ended up talking to the dude for a little bit, and he ends up telling me that they have the deal, and that it'll be worth it if I can come in and find the games. And I had asked him, I had told him, like, is there anything like worth picking up, or is there anything like good? He just said he doesn't really know. He says I can come in and spend like 2 hours in there looking if I wanted to. So I end up just kind of taking that, and end up taking the drive over. I end up driving over. I'm with my girlfriend at this point, so we end up getting there. And the first thing I end up going to is the retro game section, which kind of has like the 360 games, the PS3 games, like the original Xbox, like all of those type of games, right? I start going through them and seeing if I can find anything that I like. I find a few games, I find games that I have, like, Call of Duty, Battlefield. I find some other games that I don't have that I didn't really want. Like, I ended up coming across Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Future Soldier, which was always a game that I kind of wanted to play, but I never had the money or like the console to play it. I ended up picking that one up, and then I ended up finding a Halo 2 case, or a Halo 2 game that kind of plays into the story a good amount, so I'll kind of go back to that later. So kind of just ignore that for right now. I end up finding both those games. I end up deciding to pick them up. I realize that there's still an Xbox One section and then a PS4 section. With that, I end up going over to the section, and I end up like running into the dude that I was on the phone with, and he was talking to a separate couple about the deal, but not too long after they ended up leaving, just because I don't think they really found anything that they wanted. So I ended up asking him, double checking with the deal, just because I wanted to be sure like what the deal is, just so I don't like get confused. So he ended up confirming with me, and he ended up telling me like some games are kind of worth it. You just kind of need to look, because a lot of the games ended up being taken already, as like a first come first serve type of thing. He had ended up mentioning that they had been running the deal for quite a bit, so people probably came in already for all like the worthwhile stuff, which makes sense. So I was kind of like a little disappointed. So I ended up, still taking it and looking for games. So I spent like another, I think, 20 minutes or so looking for a game. And after spending like 10 minutes, I think I ended up finding Far Cry Primal, and I believe Star Wars Squadron, which I ended up picking both those up. And I will be making videos on both of those, just because I wanted to play those when they first came out. I just wasn't willing to pay 60 bucks or even 40 or 20 bucks for them. So I decided to pick them up now, since they're like 250 each, which is honestly a really good deal. So I'll make a video on those guys later on. But I ended up picking those guys up, the Halo 2 game, and then the Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Future Soldier. I ended up getting those four. As soon as I got to the register, I decided to put on my, like, since I'm a pro member, you get like a $5 cashback thing every month. So so I ended up applying that onto the thing, and it dropped it down to like $7, which I don't know if like taxes and everything made it be that price, but it ended up being a little bit cheaper than what I thought it was gonna be. So I ended up at the end of it, before we ended up getting rung out, because it took them a little bit to get the games. I think it took them like 5-10 minutes to get all 4 games. And like within that meantime, I kind of had ended up like throwing in a Halo 5 Guardian, since it was only, I think, like $3 at the store. So I was like, what, screw it, I'll just add it on. It'll probably bring it up to like $10. And it did. It was like 10, 25 or something like that. So I ended up getting the 5 games for $10, which honestly I feel like that's a steal, no matter what game they are. So I got those games, and I was happy with my purchase. Ended up going back to the car with my girlfriend, and I ended up checking all the games because I wanted to see, like, just double check what games were there, right? So I go through all of them. I get through pretty much every single one, and then I finally get to the Halo 2 one. And as soon as I pop it open, there's a Halo 4 disc in there. And now, mind you, I don't dislike Halo 4. I really like the Halo games. Halo 4 was actually one of those games that I was like, you know what, like they did something different with it, but I still like it. So I ended up realizing that it wasn't Halo 2 and it was Halo 4, and I ended up checking the tag, and yeah, sure enough, it did say Halo 4. But it was in the retro section, and it had in Sharpie Halo 2 on it. So I was just assuming maybe that was just, a typo, or maybe it was just a mistake, which ended up being a mistake, but it was more of it was a Halo 4, and they just ended up putting it in the wrong section. So after that, I had sat there for like 2 or 3 minutes, kind of like weighing my options, because I could either just say screw it, $2.50 game, I can just keep the copy and just say whatever, right? But the main reason why I had ended up buying these games was to make content on them. So that's the main reason why I wanted to go in there to buy the game. So I just kind of felt like buying a game that I already had wasn't really, like, worth it, even if it was $2.50. After I ended up realizing that it was a Halo 4 copy and not a Halo 2 copy, I ended up deciding I'm gonna go trade it in. So I went inside and I had asked them, I'm like, hey, this copy, I thought it was Halo 2, but it ended up being Halo 4. And they ended up looking at me and looking at the tag, and they're like, oh, we don't know how that happened. But then they ended up telling me that in the future it goes by the tag and not whatever's on the box, which I understand, but at the same time, it's like, who would kind of put out the box if it wasn't what it was, That kind of makes sense. And that's kind of what the lady said too. She was like, why would they put out the box if it's not the right game? I end up asking for an exchange, and I end up weighing my options, because there was a few games that I wanted, but I didn't want to waste the opportunity. Well, like, one of them was Hello Neighbor, and I think another of them was I forgot what the other game was. But I ended up being like, you know what, if I'm gonna switch it out, I'll just switch it out for Hello Neighbor, which, mind you, was the same exact price, right? Me sitting there being the unaware customer that I am, I just kind of sit there and just let the employee do whatever they gotta do, right? She ends up pretty much like typing a whole bunch of things, putting in a whole bunch of codes and doing a whole bunch of things, and then the refund's finally available, and she tells me, she's like, oh, it'll be $2.54 or something like that, or 56 cents that you owe. And in the store, I'm not the type of person to make like a big deal over something so small. So I was just like, kind of like, okay, I'm gonna pay it, but it's kind of weird that you're asking me to pay. So I was just kind of like dumbfounded at it, and I was just like, okay, you know what, it's $2.50, it's not that big of a deal, I'm just gonna pay it, right? Because at the end of the day, I kind of did want to play Hello Neighbor, or whatever that game is. So I just decided to pay it. And as soon as I decided to pay it, I got the game. I ended up coming out, went back into the car, and just checked the disc again, make sure that it's the right disc. And I decided to check the receipt, and to my surprise, on the receipt, they ended up refunding me half of whatever the original price was, right? So for the refund, they didn't even give me a full refund. They ended up just deciding, hey, you know what, you paid whatever for this, we're gonna refund that, and you still have to pay the other bit of it. Like, GameStop really had the audacity to charge me half of the refund and still expect me to pay $2.54. But yeah, the fact that they couldn't even give me a full refund for a $5 game it's kind of insane to me. Like, that just kind of screams a new level of greedy that I just kind of never thought that there would really be. Cause, like, come on, bro, like, you would expect on a normal, like, regular exchange. It'll just be like, hey, just get this game and this game, and you're good, like just switch them out, same price. Like, but to charge me $2.50 or $2.54 and only do like a half off refund, now that's greed. That's greed. And GameStop, I don't know if you'd ever watch this because I am such a small content creator, but if you're watching this, shame on you guys for whoever decided to put that policy into place, because you're telling me that a refund, you're not even gonna give me the full refund. Like, you're just gonna charge me half of it. Okay, all right, that's why nobody likes you guys. If I'm being honest, it's not really a situation where I'm like mad at the fact that they charge me this. It's just more like I'm honestly like surprised that they would. Well, I can't even say I'm surprised because it's GameStop. I'm just more like dumbfounded because that happened to me, bro. I would not have expected me to pay for a refund when it was literally the same price game. You could have just literally just swapped it out. It would have still been the same inventory. Like, it's wild to me, bro. Like, I don't know. I can't expect much from a company that decided to say that they were gonna be the leading Pokemon card, whatever, and end up scalping up the prices and messing up the whole thing for everybody because they want to be greedy. So I'll give it that. GameStop's GameStop. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. If you guys want to see more videos like this, I know it was kind of short. My other ones have been like 20 to 30 minute videos, but if you guys want to see more videos like this or more stuff of me talking, just let me know. I'm not too sure on what the next game is probably going to be. I might end up doing Star Wars Squadrons, or I might do like one of the Halo games, but I'm not exactly sure. If you guys enjoyed the video, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.